I think she should have been on the team too. But definitely Caitlin Clark. Now, I didn't quite understand how you bench Diana Taurasi. How you can't find any time for one of the greatest players ever who can shoot, by the way.
Stephen A. Smith, a well-known sports reporter, revealed shocking details about Caitlin Clark's new European contract.
We're just so proud and privileged to be here, and I'm honored to be up with these two very special people who are leaving their imprints all over the world of culture these days. Thank you. So, now our master of ceremonies today is not going to be me. It's going to be Mr. Stephen A. Smith. And when I asked him if he would come out here to be a part of our special homecoming, wasn't even a hesitation, because of two words: Caitlin Clark. So with that and all the love we're feeling out here, I'm going to let Stephen kick it off and get to some interviewing, which he does so well with Caitlin.
Well, first of all, what's up, everybody? What's up? We all know I'm many things, but I ain't a liar. This lady right here, Caitlin Clark, is my favorite college basketball player in the world. She is something special. And Caitlin, I'm just gonna start because they wanna hear from you, obviously. You know, it's when you see this crowd out here, knowing they're out here for you, what does it feel like for you to be a part of this and to be such a leading voice and face on this campus?
Yeah, that's the reason I came here, is because of crowds like this. So thank you guys for coming. Maybe if it's not for me, it's for Stephen A., the man. But no, that's why I chose Iowa, but also I'm an Iowa kid. I grew up here. I grew up rooting for the Hawkeyes. I grew up 2 hours from this place, so it's really special to me. And you know, my first year here was COVID, and it was really different, but now here I get to experience it with all of you. We're gonna play in front of 15,000 people every single game this year. Sold out crowd, yeah. 50,000 people for the crossover at Kinnick next Sunday. So
The news has shocked WNBA fans who don't want their favorite star to quit the league. This season, Caitlin Clark has been a formidable force in the league despite only being a rookie. Europe has now made her an alluring contract offer. Therefore, it shouldn't be shocking if the point guard for the Indiana Fever departs for Europe.
Three people. Okay. One is the fan that videoed that Chicago Sky game. The other, who was the young lady that took video during COVID when the men had this weight room available to them? And they had...
There you go, Stephen A. Yep.
Her.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Right there. Right there. That girl right there. That's who deserves it. That's her. Right there. Give her credit. Her. And last but not least, Caitlin Clark. Mm-hmm. Ladies, let me tell y'all something. You got to sit up there and pay attention to the rising tide. It lifts all boats. You can go out on the court and go at Caitlin Clark with the fierceness that your competitive juices demand. But in the process of doing that, you learn to love that girl. That girl went up in her press conference and said and spoke about flying commercial. Mm-hmm. They didn't sit up there and make this decision until after she said that. You understand? Now everybody want to sit up there and talk about, oh my God, why did it have to come to that? Damn it, forget all that. She did it. She didn't have to, but she did. She got her contract. She getting her bag. She got her endorsement deal, but she looked.
Caitlin Clark has an 8-year, $28 million contract with Nike that pays her $3.5 million a year in addition to her $76,000 WNBA salary during her time with the Indiana Fever. She also has contracts with State Farm Insurance, which allow her to be featured in Gatorade national commercials. She most likely earns millions from Wilson Gainbridge, Zinity, and Buick deals as well, while the exact sum is unknown.
Dawn Staley perfectly encapsulated everything. She said, you are one of the GOATs of this game. Because of her impact and her greatness, she definitely deserves and warrants that level of respect.
devoid of a title, she basically deserves that level of respect because she basically put the sport on its shoulders and uplifted the sport. We can't take that away from her. But I'm going to tell you what's interesting, and nobody has brought this up. I'm going to bring this up, okay? You know, one of the things we didn't talk about was what happened Friday night. That damn call by that official with 3.9 seconds left that gave, that helped. Now, I'm not going to sit up there and tell you that it was the wrong call. I just hate the fact that the call was made at that particular moment in time. You want to definitively see the players decide it as opposed to the officials, even though technically speaking, it seemed to be the right call, although not in the moment, but then you watch the replay over and over again, not in real time, and you say, okay, you can understand how that call was made. So none of us brought that up. Here's why I'm bringing it up now. One of the greats is like, yo, we gonna see when you get here. It's gonna be different. Now she said that, and I'm saying to you, that does give Caitlin Clark an opportunity to show, excuse me, yeah, it is different. And the level that I've entered is different, and the support I'm gonna have is different. So guess what? More might be coming. When we see that, if we see that, we might be talking about her in an even more elevated light.
I think the reason why players like, sorry, Shannon, really quick,
Go ahead.
Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird say this is because a lot of people have experienced the women's basketball season from the context of the last 2.
During the 6 months off before the start of the following WNBA season, she is not obliged to play overseas. However, WNBA pay have historically been insufficient for players to sustain themselves, especially when factoring in agency fees, additional training, and healthy eating, despite recent increases. Because of this, even top athletes like Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, Breanna Stewart, and Alyssa Thomas have taken trips outside to augment their incomes in countries with generally greater salaries. Taurasi received $1.5 million from UNMP in Karnberg, Russia, in 2015.
Even after 20 years, they can't get enough here. One more year echoing throughout the arena. When you feel that love, what thoughts and emotions go through you?
Yeah, I just got out of the locker room and I was talking to BG, and I'm like, there's still days where I'm like, I can still do this. I still want to play basketball. And then there's, the flip side, where there are days where I'm crawling out of bed. I think the tide turned, obviously, where Matt and Josh said this in the picture. I think they've just completely changed how people feel about this franchise. Obviously, with the Mercury and the Suns, and what we were able to do in the offseason with Nick as our new GM, hiring Nate. I think it's brought a different vision to our team going into the future. And obviously, the last couple of seasons were difficult, and I think you can see this team and this franchise and what it means and what it stands for. And obviously, Tosh and Ka and Beck are a big part of the future going forward. What BG's been able to do here for the last 13 years, and she's going to step into the role of really being the person who represents this franchise, and the way she's done it has been amazing. And I think Sophie has really stepped up into that leadership role of, this is what it looks like to play in this building, put that jersey on. So I think we're in a good place going forward regardless.
Diana, we saw fans crying in the stands.
Yeah.
How are you able to control your emotions throughout this whole game? I mean, seeing your family, seeing Sue, how are you able to keep it all together?
It's not easy, and I wasn't trying to fight any type of emotion or feel a certain way. I just kind of took it all in.
She may be going overseas for purposes other than financial gain. Being on all the time can be a tough existence. Even Christy Sides, the coach of the Indiana Fever, admits that Clark has had a difficult season. This season, she's been through a lot, and she has dealt with it as professionally as she can. In only a few months, Caitlin Clark went from her senior year at Iowa to her freshman year in Indiana, putting her in the public eye for nearly a full year. For 11 months, she hasn't taken a vacation from playing basketball at the highest level or from having her every move watched.
I'm not pissed to the point where I'm annoyed and I'm going to call people out their names, or especially people that I love, like the person I'm about to talk about in a few minutes. But certain things need to be corrected for the record. because certain things people are just ill-informed about. And the publications that grab the headlines and try to manipulate things and make things seem as if there's something that they're not. I understand that some folks are desperate for clickbait. That's how they do it. They don't care about accuracy. They just care about talking shit and not knowing what the hell they're talking about. So I'm here for it. And that's fine, because that's one of the reasons I'm in good shape, because I don't hold stuff inside all the time and let stuff foment, and ultimately an implosion takes place and I'm the one that suffers because I'm unhealthy. No, I believe, and as I've said this to family and friends throughout my life, I believe the best form of stress relief is reciprocation. When people stress you, stress the hell out of them. And that's how you'll alleviate your stress, because they'll know stress is coming down the pike and they won't want the damn trouble. So maybe they won't bring you trouble. But I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And it's regarding the subject of Caitlin Clark. For those of you who don't know, she's a former star at Iowa in college. Played in the national championship game before losing to South Carolina. She's number 1 overall pick for the WNBA draft. She is a special talent, to say the least, even though she's not having a special year, because the Indiana Fever are stinking up the joint. They've got the second worst record in the league. Only the Washington Mystics are worse, who are 0-8. The Indiana Fever are 0-9, but that's not the story involving Caitlin Clark and all the drama that surrounds her in this particular.
Although Caitlin Clark had a poor start to the season, the 2024 Rookie of the Year turned around a faltering Indiana Fever club that had owned the first overall pick in the previous 2 drafts and a lottery pick in the previous 7 by going back to her dominant ways a few games into the season. Clark's contributions to the Indiana Fever and the WNBA this season are undeniable. She is the best rookie the league has ever seen and has contributed greatly to the league.